There you are. Death to you, Father.
No!
Not you, Father. You, Father. Oh, shit!
Sony's Spider-Man universe is expanding, folks. Let's take a closer look. Venom: The Last Dance follows Venom, There Be Carnage, and promises to continue the thrilling adventures of Eddie Brock and his alien symbiote. This creature grants Eddie incredible powers like super strength, but also has a mind of its own, sometimes leading to gruesome outcomes. Despite its ties to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Venom hasn't had a full-fledged appearance in that world yet. In the mid-credits scene of Venom: There Be Carnage, Eddie and the symbiote found themselves in the MCU, setting the stage for potential crossovers. Venom's brief appearance in Spider-Man: No Way Home hinted at a larger connection, with Eddie leaving a piece of the symbiote behind as he returned to his universe. How will this play out in Venom: The Last Dance remains a mystery. The upcoming film is sure to bring more of the action and intrigue that fans love, with Eddie Brock and his symbiote facing new challenges. Previously known simply as Venom 3, it now has a new release date of October 25th, 2024, instead of its original November release. This shift places the movie perfectly in the Halloween season, adding to the anticipation. The title, The Last Dance, hints at a climactic and dramatic conclusion to the trilogy, tying into earlier teases from the franchise. This shift also places Kraven the Hunter ahead in the schedule, possibly indicating a more interconnected Sony Spider-Verse for The Last Dance to explore. The 6-year gap between the first Venom film's release in 2018 and the conclusion of the trilogy with The Last Dance adds to the anticipation for fans of the series. Tom Hardy, who plays Eddie Brock in Venom, has been actively involved in crafting the story for The Last Dance since Venom: There Be Carnage was in production. He made it clear that a third film would only happen if the second film succeeded, which it did, becoming a massive hit. In December 2021, Sony producer Amy Pascal mentioned that The Last Dance was in the works, although the studio's focus was then on Spider-Man: No Way Home. Tom Hardy is not just starring in the movie, but also writing and producing the film. Michelle Williams is eyeing a return as Anne Weying, Eddie's ex-fiancée, who shares a unique bond with the symbiote. Reed Scott and Peggy Lou are likely to reprise their roles, but the real intrigue lies with Stephen Graham's Detective Mulligan, who could transform into the menacing Toxin. Adding to the excitement are two new additions to the cast, Juno Temple and Chiwetel Ejiofor, whose roles are shrouded in mystery. With Juno Temple's charm and Chiwetel Ejiofor's depth, their characters are sure to make a splash in this final chapter of the Venom trilogy. Despite a success with Venom: There Be Carnage, Andy Serkis won't be directing this installment. Instead, Kelly Marcel, the mastermind behind the first two films, steps into the director's chair, promising to take the Venom saga to new heights. While the plot remains closely guarded secret, speculation is rampant, fueled by the events of Spider-Man: No Way Home and hints of a final showdown. Described as the final chapter, The Last Dance is poised to tie up loose ends, including Eddie's complicated relationship with Anne and his symbiotic alter ego. Recent hints suggest a fierce battle awaits, with Tom Hardy's Eddie facing off against the Lobo Cartel, a group of werewolves straight from the pages of Marvel Comics. Rumors also swirl about a showdown with the Jury, a team of high-tech vigilantes determined to take down Venom. Venom: The Last Dance has the perfect opportunity to connect with Sony's Spider-Man universe, especially after the Morbius mid-credits scene hinted at a larger crossover. In that scene, the MCU's Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, appears, suggesting a team-up with Morbius, played by Jared Leto, which could lead to the formation of the Sinister Six. This group of villains is a recurring threat to Spider-Man in the comics, and their introduction to the SSU opens up exciting possibilities for Venom: The Last Dance. With Kraven the Hunter set to debut in his own movie, he could easily become a member of the Sinister Six and make a cameo appearance in Venom: The Last Dance, setting the stage for a thrilling showdown between these iconic characters. Sony has been eager to bring this iconic villain group to the big screen since at least the early 2010s, with teases in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 setting the stage. However, plans for the Sinister Six were shelved after the film's poor reception. Sony's approach with the Sony Spider-Man universe seemed to be building up villains first, with the potential for a hero to later enter the narrative as an antagonist. However, with the Venom: The Last Dance seemingly concluding Eddie Brock's story, Sony may be moving too slowly to capitalize on its most lucrative franchise. The history of Spider-Man in cinema has been long and eventful, dating back to the early 2000s. Sony's attempts to expand the Spider-Man universe have been met with mixed success, but the potential for a Sinister Six movie remains an intriguing possibility depending on how Venom: The Last Dance shapes the future of the Sony Spider-Man universe. Just like the Avengers, Sony need to build up a roster of compelling villains that audiences love before unleashing them in a team-up extravaganza. While Venom stands tall as a fan favorite, other characters like Morbius and Kraven need to win over audiences before they can join the Sinister Squad. The stakes are high for Sony, especially if Venom's story wraps up after The Last Dance. They'll either need to boost the popularity of their existing characters or introduce a new breakout star. The multiverse may hold the key to Sony's future plans. Venom's brief foray into the MCU and Vulture's crossover from the MCU to the SSU and Morbius hint at a larger interconnected universe. Could we see these characters join the MCU permanently through some multiversal magic? And let's not forget Madame Web's cryptic setup, which could introduce a whole new roster of Spider-People into the mix. The future of Sony's Spider-Man universe hangs in the balance, with the success of Kraven the Hunter and Venom: The Last Dance shaping the franchise's next steps. The stakes are high for Sony's Spider-Man universe, especially after the lukewarm reception to Madame Web and Morbius. While some movie titles can be deceiving, remember X-Men: The Last Stand? The circumstances surrounding Sony's projects make Venom: The Last Dance's title feel weighty and final. Spider-Man: No Way Home firmly established the separate universes of Eddie Brock and Peter Parker, making a crossover more challenging. With Venom possibly concluding his solo run, Sony may be less inclined to bend continuity for a crossover. Venom definitely stands tall as the franchise's top film. Not only did the first Venom outshine other Sony Spider-Man movies like Morbius and Madame Web, but it also outperformed both Amazing Spider-Man films at the box office. Its success birthed a sequel, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which continued the box office domination. While Venom: Let There Be Carnage didn't quite match its predecessor's success, it still raked in nearly 5 times its budget at the box office. This stark contrast highlights Sony's recent struggles, particularly with Madame Web failing to be profitable at the box office. The Venom movies have been the backbone of Sony's franchise, especially in the wake of 2 lackluster releases. If the Venom series wraps up, Sony will be bidding farewell to its most successful franchise in the SSU. This signals a major shift in Sony's strategy, potentially leading to a re-evaluation of their standalone Spider-Man-less Spider-Man ventures. However, even if the Venom series and the SSU reach their conclusion, Sony is unlikely to abandon the Spider-Man universe entirely, ensuring that his legacy lives on. Sony's grip on Spider-Man's cinematic fate comes with a high-stakes clause. They must keep churning out Spidey-related projects or risk losing the rights. When The Amazing Spider-Man 2 fell short, Sony's desperation birthed a deal with Marvel that gave us Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, faced with another franchise crisis, Sony might be on the brink of another game-changing move. Sony could share more of its Spider-Verse with Marvel, just like they did with Spider-Man. Characters like Venom and Norman Osborn have deep ties to the Marvel lore, and Marvel would likely jump at the chance to fold them into the MCU. The catch? Marvel would likely put its own spin on these characters, potentially reimagining them from the ground up. Joining forces with Marvel has been a jackpot for Sony. While their solo Spider-Verse projects have sputtered, their Spider-Man movies have soared, with Spider-Man: No Way Home swinging to the top of the MCU's box office charts. A deal where Sony keeps cranking out Venom solo adventures while Marvel also gets a piece of this symbiote action could mean a continuation of the cash flow. But it also means tying Sony's fortunes tightly to MCU, which has consistently outshone Sony's efforts. As for Venom, the future holds a lot of possibilities. Even if Venom: The Last Dance wraps up Tom Hardy's Venom saga, the character could still find a home in the MCU or the SSU. While the upcoming film may close the book on Hardy's Venom, the door is wide open for a future showdown between Spider-Man and a new incarnation of Venom. That would be awesome, right? Let us know how excited you are in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time.